So, my Bad Mama Jamba for this week is my mother. And how fitting because today is Mother's Day. So, my mom, before she met my dad, was very much a socialite. She was a model, she was a black activist, she was aspiring journalist. She had a lot going on. And she was very beautiful, as you see. She met my dad at the community college that they attended, KCK Community College in Kansas City, Kansas. These were his days at De La Salle Catholic School, all boys Catholic school in Kansas City, Missouri. But again, they met at KCK Community College, and he said that the first time he saw her, he was smitten, and he just had to know who she was and what she was about. And he shortly thereafter was brave enough to go up and ask her what her name was and got to know her better. They got married. They began their family, my brother and sister and I, and they lived a happy life. This is them in the bathroom that he was remodeling on the house that we bought in Kansas City, Kansas. After my brother and sister and I got a little bit older, I was 8 years old, my mom decided she wanted to go back to school to pursue her degree in social work. And she knew that to pursue a degree and be successful in social work, she had to not only achieve her bachelor's degree, but her master's degree as well. So my dad was very accommodating in her going back to school, and he was her biggest cheerleader when she went back to school. She would drop us off at school every day in KCK, and she would drive to Lawrence to achieve her bachelor's, then master's degree in social work. Began this pursuit when I was in the second grade. She graduated from college with her master's degree from KU when I was in the 8th grade, and this is one of the gifts. This here is one of the gifts that my father got her for her graduation. We attended her graduation at KU, all of us, the whole family. We were on the top of the hill. It was a long day. It was exciting, and my dad was so proud of her, and he cheered her on for a long time after she achieved her goal, which is her master's degree in social work. This is not a great picture of her, but she did begin working as a social worker shortly after obtaining her degree. She worked in schools, she worked at the health department, she worked a lot of different jobs until she found her niche, which was actually working in the schools as a school social worker. And she was so great at it that they called her out of retirement to come back 2 times to work as a social worker again. And she did it just to help out, but she did do social work until her retirement a few years ago. A few years after my mom achieved her degree, her master's degree in social work, and began working, my father became ill with cancer. But again, he was her biggest cheerleader in every desire and dream that she had. So now, after my dad passed away, my mom had 3 children to take care of herself. Thank goodness that she was adamant about getting her master's degree in social work, and she was very good at finances to help take care of her 3 children that she now had the responsibility of taking care of herself. Of course, we weren't this young, but I like the picture better. We were 18, 17, and 16 when my father passed away. A few years later, my mom got remarried to James, my stepfather. And my mother fell in love with traveling. She loved traveling to a different country every year. To Hawaii, Cuba. This is a picture of her in Vietnam. She's been to several different places, and she goes every year. Prior to COVID, they were going once a year to some place, and they don't just stay at the particular place that they're at. They take a a small plane or a helicopter to travel to the different islands around where they are, sites that they'd like to see in the surrounding areas. So travel has become one of her favorite things to do. So my mom also loves genealogy. She loves tracing family history back to as far back as she can trace it. And through this love of genealogy, she has found various relatives, and they have found her, that resemble her and her brothers and sisters, and it's pretty interesting. And these are all my mom's brothers and sisters. Minus one, my Uncle Arthur. Two of the uncles have passed away, but everybody else is still living. And last but not least, this is my Aunt Pat, who is 97 years old, who my mom takes fabulous care of. This is a place that my mom got her so that she can live alone by herself and be self-dependent. And my mom goes over every Sunday to make sure that Aunt Pat gets to see the online service that their church that they used to attend every Sunday does. And my Aunt Pat really enjoys watching the service, and my mom's just a great caretaker for her. This is another one of the reasons why I named her as the Bad Mama Jamba for the week, because not only is she good with finances, she's good with caring for other people and like putting herself to the side and caring for other people. And I just admire how I saw her attending school, and she stuck to it, and she was dedicated to it until she completed it. And that made me do the same thing when I got older and had a child. And I went back to school and was very determined to achieve my bachelor's degree in human resources until the end. Everybody told me I couldn't do it. I remember seeing her determination to achieve her goal, and it inspired me to achieve mine. And I thought about how I watched my mom do what she did, and that inspired me to do what I did when it came to. And she was my biggest cheerleader when I decided to go back to college. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Bad Mama Jamba of the Week. Stay tuned for next week's Bad Mama Jamba of the Week. Until then, have a great week. See you next time.